And then I'm laying there and I say to myself, you know what? This is a totally unrelated issue, but I now know I've been looking in the wrong place for the solution to the concept that underlies group selling. And when I can get back to Chicago, I go to a library, and I am not pulling anyone's leg with this. There is a man by the name of Dr. Morris Zettler, who in about 1927 or 28 wrote a graphic to illustrate a theory of his. And of course, for some of you who know this, he was the author of the pecking order theory. Anyone ever hear that besides me? Okay, good. So you know I'm not pulling your leg. I'll explain it to you. Has anyone in the room ever been raised on a farm? You have chickens when you were a kid? Okay. What you may not have known is that mom and dad typically didn't go out and get the juiciest, plumpest chicken. Very often they looked for this guy, the scrawny guy, and I'll tell you why. If you didn't eat him, you were going to find him dead behind the barnyard anyway. Because the truth of the matter is, the lowest chicken in the pecking order in the barnyard very often gets pecked away and kept away from the water trough, the food trough, etc. It's not uncommon for the other chickens to kill them. In fact, in modern chicken farming, they literally debeak the chickens because there's so many of them so close to each other because they're not nice to each other. Now, what Zettler did was acknowledge that there was a pecking order, and he put different color pieces of yarn and string on these chickens, and he observed them for 30-some days, and they literally developed a pecking order, meaning this guy, which Hewlett-Packard does not like this, but we have nicknamed him HP, the head pecker. Now what this guy does is he pecks all these other chickens, and no one pecks him. There is a chicken typically when it works out in the barnyard, goes any place he wants, drinks anything he wants, eats anything he wants, and everyone else moves out of the way. No one pecks him. And of course, there is dinner. And what dinner has as his lot in life is everyone pecks him, he pecks no one. Now those are the extremes. Let's come into the pecking order and look at this guy. These guys peck this one. He does not peck them. He pecks all of these, and they do not peck him. So he has a position in the pecking order. That position can change. If he gets sick, wounded, old, that's how it changes. This is a very simple animal life, the chicken. But let's give him the benefit of some thought processes for a minute. Let's pretend this is an upward mobile chicken. What this chicken wants to do is rise one spot in the pecking order. Why? It's one less chicken that gets to peck him, and one more chicken he can peck. Now let's ask a question. Is this a chicken theory, or does this apply to us humans in some ways?
Yes.
You can see it in corporate America with the organization chart, can't you? Anyone in the room ever been in the military? Okay, I have not, but there is a very stringent pecking order. You even have a structure that supports it. All right. Now, let's see how far the game really plays. Because this would probably never happen to any of you in your company. I think it's important for you to see something. I had a client who moved 1,400 people from New York City to Denver, Colorado. They put them in 3 towers, temporary world headquarters, for about 5 years. This is the way the towers were laid out. This is an outside office. It has a window and what is affectionately known as a one-holer. Farmers know what one-holers are, meaning a door, but in this case there's no door in it, just a doorway. Now that's a 12 by 12 foot cubicle.
No, it doesn't mean a door.
Pardon?
It isn't a door.
No, I know it's not a door on a farm, it's the hole, but one-holer here means a door. Because what they can do, Harley, is leave a partition out and make that a 12 by 24 foot office. And just because it's a spec building, it now has 2 doorways. Now, you could literally write an organization chart off of this process. You walk in here and it's assistant product manager, assistant marketing manager, assistant sales manager. You walk in here, it might be marketing manager, sales manager, etc. Across the hall, a 12 by 36 foot office exists. National sales manager. And now all of a sudden, the damnedest thing I ever saw in my life, the division general manager decides to be in this complex. Would anyone like to design the office layout of a 12 by 48 foot office? This is true. It's on my mother's grave. That wasn't the end of it. Plastic dust, meaning formica, in the 12 by 12s. Wooden dust, but cheap, in the 12 by 24s. Walnut burls in the 12 by 48s. You went from prints to oil paintings on the walls. And you're laughing. Tell me some of you don't have this situation in your own companies, at one level or another. Okay. In fact, we have a company out here on the expressway you drive by all the time. Remember Google Corporation? At a certain level, you got to belong to the Meadow Club, which was a health club and seams done and whatever. It's the ultimate key to the executive washroom. You get to go take a sauna after work and run around a track. So these things exist. Now let's go back and legitimize David W. Smith as a human being. We're at dinner, and his boss thinks of something that he wasn't clever enough to think of. It now looks like Riga is going to lose the war. Can you understand why David doesn't want to be on the losing army? It's not even here that that happens. I think that sometimes happens here. So what's the real point of this as it deals with you? Rita, you call on me, and I'm Paul. Now, sometimes Paul is not nice, sometimes Paul's nice, but Paul's who he is, and you know how to handle me. You know, when I really get out of shape, you say, Paul, shut up and listen. You know how to handle me, and I take that from you. We have a relationship that works. One day, Rita calls on me, and I call in this guy Harley. Who is he? Well, he could be my boss. He might be a peer that I'm fighting with for position. He might be an underling that I'm trying to show off for. You're going to make me my boss? Your real problem is...
Mystery man.
Yeah. I am now not going to be the old Paul. Just like David wasn't my David. So, let's go back and look for fault for a minute. What happened at dinner? The pecking order theory kicked in. Whose fault is it that it went awry? My fault. Absolutely my fault. I know who David is. He's a staff person. The vice president that he works for is his boss. This guy's the guy that pulls his salary strings and all the rest of it. This is a survival technique. Yeah? So, now, let me just give you one complication to this because it isn't so simple. Here's our pecking order. See, Harley and I are in this group. So you can take that group and stand it on that. That's why we may have our crazies when we're in the room. Not even though he's on the same level in the pecking order of the overall system, he's got a problem in that he wants to be the head pecker in that group because that's the one that moves up to the next level, or at least doesn't fall down in case there's a shake-up or reorganization. Don't feel bad if you have some inside stories. Everybody's got them. That's just part of the system. The next question becomes, what should you do about it?